Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.
Well, unfortunately, we came a little late to the party, which is also to my surprise, but now we have made it. Energy versus the lads from Sinister5 over here at the final stage of the CSA closed qualifier. It's about a slot for the Asia Minor, so it's about big, important steps for both of those teams. My name is Sesht. I'm going to guide you through this matchup, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I will. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're expecting this to be such a game as I hope it to be. In case anything is wrong, the chat is open where you can redirect all your messages. Otherwise, let's directly hop into nothing else than beautiful action. Just to let you know, this map has been picked by the Sinister5. So let's see what those Sinister5 will do about it. At this point in time, Energy has found the entry on this fairly CT-sided map, and now the rush down on the side, here it comes. No big surprises though, the USPS strikes to some degree, but the MP5, it cleans up. Mr. M finds a frag after another. So Energy does it pretty much with ease, and that is no major surprise. And to keep you updated what actually has happened here so far, we had 8 teams come through 2 qualifiers previous to that. And the Sinister5 beating Big 5 and Toly. T-O-L-Y. It's hilarious. It's Sinister5 and Big 5. I don't know if that's a big South African thing, the 5s, but who knows. In the meantime, in the final, it's going to be Goliath awaiting one of those 2 teams. Right now, it's just about the entry ticket for the final. And so let's see how easy this one will go. A buy-up happened on the Sinister5 side. M4s and Ox, that might reign supreme. We'll see about that, if that's going to happen. Meanwhile, they still stick to some of the submachine guns they have. Of course, you don't necessarily need to reinvest in such rounds where it could be just more beneficial to wait it out. But Hack is going to find Blaze. That's a good start to it. Raid is getting the bomb down nevertheless. And all those CTs are coming from pretty much the same position as they go through connector and directly come from the back lines of the site, making it all maybe a bit more problematic. ADM, though, looking in the wrong direction. That's the first player spotted. Raid is down. That makes it a 3 versus 5. He's just going to pull through, but he's the man, or one of the man without any kit. This is making it all more problematic. You got to go for the fuser, and that works brilliantly. Energy, they might just stay alive another day, but there's still a guy on it. There's still a guy on it. Somebody has to take him down. He's not going to make it in time. Unbelievably unfortunate. Everybody dying. And Energy gonna prevail with just another round. The CT's invested as much as possible into it. And as they invested as much as possible into it, they come out of it with pretty much nothing. Surely all the terrorists have to rebuy into this as well, but there you see the AKs and Raid on a single Mac 10. And to be very honest, and you have the right to hate me on that. The problem for me personally is that, and you might find it understandable, as I'm not from South Africa, and I don't know much about the South African scene. It's a weakness I'm gonna admit. So the most of the names make sense, so we'll go through. That's Raid, that's ADM, that's, you know, Mr. M would make sense, but it's Mistem, I imagine. Lace, Dwezil, I pray to say that right. Divo, Zeolucent, Zero Chance, Hackem I would call him, and Flex. So if this is done horribly wrong, I excuse myself. But before I mess it up throughout the entire best of 3, I thought just try it out in the beginning and see if some of those South African fans can support and help. In the meantime, the CTs, they're not so much in trouble. My goodness, for a second I thought so, but ADM though falling down. It's a good basis, but who in God's name is gonna expect this to happen from Energy? Meanwhile, entering the A side, annexing it already, and Dwezzle just waiting out for a CT player to come around. Saw the shadow. And that could close the case of round number 4. It pretty much should, but Flesks with a very good frag onto one of the remaining T's. 13 HP though, pretty much impossible. And there it is, pretty much impossible. Throughout the entire tournament, by the way, the team that we already see in the final, Goliath, is 0.2 points above the second team, Sinister5, in the overall team rating, and that is just absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. When your team is average on 1.36 over this entire qualifier, this displays dominance. But first of all, we need to see who's advancing into that final against Goliath, as Flesks coming through, or at least tries to do so. Fails, though, in the end. Major damage dealt. That makes it maybe a little easier for the rest of the Sinister5, but they're a man down, and that man down, it's not going to do too much. Zach ADM is finding 2 amazing frags. Dwezzle is reigning supreme against the final player on the site. And Hack'em, most definitely spotted, most definitely strong, most definitely still there to do a little more. But Dwezzle, he's stronger than him. No, under no circumstance. And everybody can pat the shoulder of Hack'em as he secured the first round for Sinister5, which looked already quiet. Well, let's say sinister. A little surprising how they fell down in that round. The thing we don't already realize is that especially those last 2 rounds made it a bit problematic. We see throughout, well, 2 occasions, or 1 occasion where in total 10 players could have survived, only 1 made it through. This is costing you big time money. And if you're not the son of Warren Buffett, you can't afford it in the follow-up. Energy with just those P250s and a single AK in the hands of ADM. Make it somewhat a do-or-die situation. Pushing out a ramp even works. The nade goes deep. Painful it is, but Raid should have this bomb down. Oh, the flames are coming close. No worries, though. His feet are hot, but not that hot. And at that point in time, it's possible. It's dangerous, but possible. A lot of steps made by Blaze, who's now retreating back on the site. But yeah, that's it. Story told. And there it is, the CT side finally starting to wake up to some degree, but the bomb down, of course, helps you a lot when it comes down to accumulating big-time bucks. I mean, just to point that out again when we talk about maps, Train being nearly as CT-sided as Nuke, we're talking about 57.3% of the rounds off this map in the last 3 months of the pro scene being won by the counter-terrorists. One of the clearest indicators you could ask for, period. So getting something like 6 or 7 as energy is somewhat a solid fundament to then make it work on the other side. That being said, Flex finding 2. Bomb in his hands, put on a pedestal. Oof, and that was a bit of a major mistake. Him falling down gives the T's a bit more control around the bomb, and Daivu within pivotal shots, but he still keeps on spraying. He still keeps on wounding those players. And as they're vulnerable right now, the 4-round streak from the beginning gets stopped quite immediately. Vessel will benefit from the frack over there on Ivy. And he's just like hearing the bullets whiff around him. Otherwise, doesn't care. Now we talk about 40 seconds. And we talk about nothing else than those 40 seconds and a belt full of utility. The only man who really has something to say right now regarding DHP's ADM. And so they're setting up for the B-side take. Smokes on the cross. Smokes on the first wagon. They're all coming in. But the Molly, of course, is not allowing Raid or Code to even pass. And so the rotation is initiated. This should under no circumstance go in the way of Energy. And even if ADM is the hero, he can't be the one they needed. Tamed in the end. Sinister5. Come closer and closer and closer. Quite sure it's Flexi. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense what you're saying. So, like I said in the beginning, not being so familiar with the South African scene, you have to forgive my mistakes here. So basically, I beg for your pardon, but in the meantime, this them is even gonna back for the pardon of going that far. And so, 4-man going on the site. Sakim is taking out one after another. No bomb to be brought to the ground. An advantage for Sinister5 as they are not given Energy any better weaponry or something they were looking for. Better economy to say it like that. As the bomb plant would have been highly, highly beneficial. Just to point that out, it was actually the team of Sinister5 twice picking this map against twice Toly, or T-O-L-Y. Losing it once, winning it once. Both times the opponent reached double digits. Reaching those double digits most likely could happen again. His Energy is quiet decently taking the side already, and every single player stays alive, making this all a bit more problematic. Again, the CTs coming all from the same position, nobody flanking around. Raid can be then utilized a little later on. Those Augs, we know they're a bit better in long range. Talking about it, Zeo finding a beautiful frag. ADM, though, chops the first head off, but instantly being replied to that. The site has to be covered. The site is where nobody off Sinister5 should come close. They're taken down too. It's only down to Raid. It's only down to Raid. He finds that one frag, and there the time is running out. No circumstance. No single circumstance. Ah, Raid with a free K by the book to the end of the round. Funny wise, the only free frags he has done so far in this game. Ridiculous. Basically ridiculous. And the matter of fact is, Sinister5 winning 4 rounds in a row. He's all great and stuff. The matter of fact, which could become a problem after all, is if they're losing this round. Outside of Daewoo, you don't see anyone really having big bucks left in their bank account. Therefore, if they fall down, they'll be pretty much broke. So Energy can get an entire momentum rolling, a streak of rounds, so on and so on. They themselves not having the biggest bucks left in the bank account, of course, making it a bit more problematic. That nade is not gonna help. Okay, just lying to you, blatantly. So Angie gotta really adjust her game plan this. As Raid still holds the control in front of B. It's time to wait out what they'll do. Great. A minor mistake that could have a major outcome for the energy lineup. And this is where we can start considering, do we actually want to push through? The decision, it is yes. And, oh, Flexi with 2 beautiful frags. That just, well, gets it pretty much done. As we're tied in it, of course, energy hardly doing anything. Aug just rains down. A little reminder to visit GGBet to place your obviously bets. I mean, if that is a clear indicator. Probably all the South Africans could make big bucks out of this because they know all the players a lot better than the rest of the world. I just want to introduce you to a brilliant feature which I'd like to see on HLTV. Imagine every single team, or their managers or their representatives, can send in a voice file to every single player and how to pronounce their player name. If that wouldn't be brilliant, I don't know. I mean, it's just a little wish, you know? It's a little wish. Then every caster can figure out how to spell some names. HLTV, make it happen. So they come down to the B side. Again, energy trying to forcing it down to that side. Gets somewhat denied by at least the molly to some degree. The flashbang didn't work according to plan. And so the T's are somewhat reigning supreme. They find the control over the site, which they don't find is Daibu. They were taken out in the end. Zio should not stand a chance, and obviously he doesn't. It's a back and forth overall. To just remind you of the scoreboard we had, it was a 4-4 at one point, and then things got swapped and swapped. This round again, if it falls into the hands of energy, if they're getting victorious out of it and be crowned, then of course they have the sort of advantage to put their opponent in economically bad state. And that overall means, with an economically bad state being the case, energy could get the 9-6, and a 9-6 is a brilliant T site. As I close my mouth, Flexi takes out the first. Misty not really standing a chance. So it's down to Zio to do a little bit more towards Ivy. And that is not too hard for him. The task was mastered with ease. And as they go one by one by one, Sinister5 can just pick them up one by one by one. Not the best move, if you would ask me. But in the end, I'm just talking about the games, right? So, who am I to judge? Daiwu finding a beautiful 3K. Things are turned around and turned around and turned around. In the meantime, Sinister5 is leading, while Zero Chance is down to 1-7. A little unfortunate to see. But both teams have their sort of carry roles. I mean, same with ADM over on NRG. Funny-wise, if you remember, Raid got his only 3 frags from the one round where he clutched up on big ramp. Just to remind you about that. Just to let that keep that thought in your mind. It's very unfortunate to see, but that is where he at least had impact for his team, which still is pivotal, of course. Which is uncomfortable. Might be 0 chances up. Meanwhile, second frag for him, it's going to be granted. Blaze just blazes away, ADM falling down. In the meantime, it's still open and up for grabs. It's still possible, if they all amalgamate their forces, to push on down onto the side and find the players to frag. With those kills coming in, 0 chance for the smoke. Seems a bit hungry for those frags after he was so silent for so long. It's all good and great. The problem that though occurs is no bomb in the hands of any energy player. So somebody needs to do the Usain Bolt, run down, take that C4, and bring it to A ASAP. Raid is still taking a very comfortable walk. Sneaking around. Once more again, reminding you it's 24 seconds. 20. And there he realized the time is not on his really not his friend anymore. Gotta bring it down. Both connector players are so deadly at this point. And he planted for public. No chance. That is the round. Going in favor of the Sinister5. And what an unfortunate mistake. A little misread. If they had a bit bigger buffer, could have worked better. But there it goes. 8-6. The Sinister5 looking somewhat decent on the CT side. Energy waiting us out at this point in time. No overly aggressive stance we can witness. On the smoke. Just pops quite brilliantly, doesn't it? It pops quite brilliant. The molly comes in as well. And the high ground from Flexy's not going to work that well, though. Daivu from behind. He comes in like a ninja. He takes down 2. And so Mistem can pray to the Lord that he's finding those last 2 individuals. His op, surely the best tool in the situation he's in. Oh no. That 1 o'clock. He's baiting him out. Or does he know is the question. It seemed like he knew, but the UAP, I would doubt it to call it an upgrade. Very honestly, I would doubt to call this an upgrade to the AWP, but unfortunately couldn't find anything better that's fully automatic. Mistem just waits for the right peak. The op is down in a millisecond. There it goes. Brilliant shots. Putting himself on a pedestal seems like a bit of a risk. And there the M4 is the tool to take him down. 9-6. And just to let you know, Sinister5 picked Train, to remind you about that. And here is my question to all the South African people out there. First of all, what is the first go-to friendly insult? Like the Australians have the C word, as far as I remember. What is it in in the English vocabulary of the South Africans? And B, character-wise, how are South Africans described? It sounds a little weird, but I was making up my mind. But everybody knows Australians are those goosters and pranksters. UK people are just UK people. Now, let's see what Raid can do. Together with his teammate, they try to take the Ivy control. They seem to fail to it to some degree, but no, laser-like accuracy coming through from Mistem, taking a triple. His teammate Raid prays, but with 1 HP, it could be better. Still, both remaining opponents, no armor. Molly and Smoke. They can cherish their life for another few seconds until they will be mowed down. At least that is the way it should be. Meantime, though, Flexi's taken down one, but it's classic. He's really looking for that ace, doesn't he? He really looks for that ace. His pistol gonna reign supreme in that one. It should be all possible. I mean, at that point, 20 seconds. Want to be still hitting the ground. Can't place it in safety, and Blaze is there in time. And Mistum showed his pure strength in that one. Really outstanding. And that's the right track to be on. So I learned a new word, which I'm not gonna say in public. I also don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm most definitely not gonna even try. Learned the meaning. Seems like Zeo learns the meaning of the MP9 and the brute force off this compact submachine gun. Dweezil can come away with his life. Actually, he does. As ADM supports him with a beautiful shot. And that's the thing, right? The 9-6 half is most likely an still ideal scoreline to come back on train. Only on if you're on the CT side, of course, to add that real quick. Zeo and Co. standing a good chance to finally get into double digits. In the meantime, missed them though. Dodges. What? Looked like he would dodge another few, but no, it's not going to be the case. The MP9 in close range once more show what it's made of. Sinister5, a man down, or to be accurate, 2. Man disadvantage belongs to them, unfortunately. But how does the old saying go? Beware of the South Africans bringing gifts, as the Trojan horse might arrive over there on B. The back door is somewhat open, though. Raid considers to finally pull through. In the meantime, a beautiful scout shot, another one bouncing down, and his opponent is already laying in the dirt. Last player to find is Flexi. Spots him, and one taps him face first on the ground. And there comes the pause, the first one of the Sinister5 side. I think we both didn't see a break from any of those teams yet. Let's see what actually the odds say. There you go. Still favoring energy quite massively. Interesting. All right. So, dear gentlemen, Let's figure out how well this will go for the energy side. On the CT side, you can obviously prevail a little better. There, the MP9. I personally call it the minigun. And the reason why I call it the minigun is simply because it's compact and it's shooting as fast as the real classic chopper sort of minigun. So that is why the MP9 is the minigun for me. Another story told. That's again 5 lads with a sinister mindset, with now even a round down after they had the lead, looking to finally get a T round on the board. They would finally need it. Most definitely they would finally need it. Energy is accumulating big bucks. Nothing you want to see on your CT opponent. Oh, and Dwezil. Oh, I can't do that. For a second, it looked like Zurchan saw him beforehand. The nades. Oh, disgusting damage dealt. But they have still lost an individual, making it all very uncomfortable. In the meanwhile, the B side could be the main objective, and I'm not so sure if I like Blaze taking such a further mid/long range approach. He really goes away quite far, and I definitely don't like that, but that might be just own mistake. Blaze playing around the bomb train, could find 1 or 2 in the meantime. Peeking out there is so debatable. He takes a longer angle. He takes a mistake by that. But we're talking about 46 and 18 HP, but the flank is happening, and if they find the frags, oh no! Missed them! Was all his. All belonged to just him. Now, secretly sneaking, gets one. Must have hurt the player, by the way. Back coming up the ladder. And he's faking out the first. Flexi. First mistake. Player coming to his right inside close. Missed them! Oh, the hero, the side of energy needed, and he has done it so goddamn good. Absolutely astonishing. Heard the smoke pop on the molly. Instantly realized what happened. And ta-da, magic, as he pulls the rabbit out of the head. Energy with the 11th belonging to them this second. So, Blaze wanted a little too much there. Failing in the end with defending that B site. We can talk about in a second why I highly dislike that. In the meanwhile, sniper strikes, bomb down, hitting the ground immediately. The flashbang could help to at least let him pass, and that will be the case. Then they find one kill after another. That is still a difficult situation to be in. I mean, surely we don't see any utility coming in from Sinister5, but they're spread out. One towards ramp, one towards upper ramp. Still, it's not really that nice. The first fake comes through. His teammate got him. Somebody got Heaven, and that is Dwezil. Helping him so goddamn well. Energy keep on fighting their way up. 6 rounds in a row they have won. In all those pretentious situations, you thought there's no way Energy pulls this one around. But sweet fruits of the labor of Energy. Enjoyable. Highly enjoyable for them. Taking a quick look over in the scoreboard, and especially the advanced stats. Enemy's flash is just ridiculous for Energy, especially ADM and Dwezil. They're doing a phenomenal job with that in comparison to their opponent. But right now, Sinister5 funny always looks like they're taking the entry, which does not always convert to a win. Flexi, though, gonna be taken out. Blaze just runs out, sees the first to his left, a bomb planted to his right. He can't reign supreme. Both have a quite long way to go. Missed him. Is he gonna miss him? That's the question. 1,286 HP. Quite good to work with. Knows there's a player to the right-hand side. Takes him out. And again, the bomb was down. Now the pressure is a lot higher. As Zero Chance finds one on the edge of the smoke. Mistum's gonna come in. He's gonna find the shot, but not the defuse. Is he even gonna stay alive? Yes, indeed. The op brought through. And finally, a sign of life we see from the Sinister5. Finally. It took way too long. And there you see the losing bonus was more lucrative than the winning bonus. Unluco, you could say. Unluco. Energy, again. Nothing happening in the beginning of this. Having all the right weaponry, of course. Though they're running low on money. Dwessel's patience. Oh, no. Oh! Dangerous for a second. Takes down Hackham. And so they go down on the B sites. Man advantage is here for the CTs. As the rotation is immediate. Problems start to occur. One player after another falls. Still, Zio hopes for the best, and suddenly things turn in favor of the Sinister5. That just started to collapse in a matter of seconds. It's a flashbang. Might be not so brilliant. He knows where one of the players stands. Needs to take them all down. Oh no, and now fakes out the first time. His teammate needs to help. His teammate needs to help, and it all goes in favor of Energy. Team play plus bamboozling your opponent equals victory. There's no consecutive streak that Sinister5 get for themselves. There, we might see, again, the system collapse. The counter-terrorists finding a good way into this. And here's the thing. There's no real economic draw that's coming in anymore for the Sinister5, really. I mean, surely 3.4 is the minimum they get, and that is already quite alright. Surely not AK level, but quite alright. So, it's not much to lose. In the meantime, it is a lot to lose because it's their own map pick. This is putting them on the back foot, basically. Yeah, I mean, zero chance. His name is pretty much a story told, isn't it? He's dying there to that AUG. Just to remind you of that, this is the best of 3 that leads to the final of the CSA region, and there is still a team to make it to the Asia Minor from the CSA region. Goliath have not dropped a single map yet, and they look unbeatable. Period. And by unbeatable, I legitimately mean unbeatable. Have not dropped the map. 1.36 rating overall. And Dwezzle looks a little timed out, doesn't he? Dwezzle? Man down. So basically, Sinister5 playing only against 4 opponents. There the smoke comes in, somewhat faking it out. Dwezzle has reached the end of the connector by now. And does Ray do himself a favor by waiting it out? He surely seems to do so. They're all coming in. 0 chance. Could pre-fire him by now. Ah, he's got to take him out. Oh, this is unfortunate. Could have been a very solid hold, actually, if that would have haven't happened. And there the pause is being called for technical issues. Very understandable, as this round should collapse, but as I say, it is still energy dealing damage. Overall, 1 player after another falls, but there you have it. This is so unfortunate. 1 player disconnecting and suddenly it all falls apart. As the break is being called, if you're wondering who's behind the microphone, my name is Zesht. I'm very happy to guide you through this. And this is the point in time where we can talk a little bit about Goliath. Their recent results in this qualifier. Because, if I see this correctly, out of 8 maps played, and hear me out, out of 8 maps played, only 1 went into double digits. Only 1. That's absolutely astonishing. Other results, especially against Energy, for example, were 16-8, 16-8 on both Nuke and Overpass, with Energy picking Overpass. And now the question is, how are you lovely South Africans doing? I hope you had a great day. I don't know if it's really warm right now. I could imagine it's very warm. I don't know. I honestly don't know. So this is the point in time where I'm going to talk about something. And very importantly, if you didn't watch if you didn't watch the final Game of Thrones episode, if you didn't watch Game of Thrones at all, and if you don't like spoilers, let me know, because the thing is, we're going to talk about that right now. I know it's off topic. So, here's the thing. We have realized, right, that in the final season, everything had to end. So far, so good. So far, so good. So, now, what happens? Well, the thing is, what happens, and I'm very unhappy about that. The unhappy thing that happens, it all collapses in one single episode. Because, think about it that way. Just hear me out. This is the final thing I'm going to say about that. Hear me out. So, you have multiple seasons where a massive horde of zombies, a big, massive horde of zombies, is coming to Westeros to freaking bombard that entire continent and rip it apart, making everybody one of those White Wanderers, right? So what happens in the matter of 1 minute? In a matter of 1 minute, a girl that is 1.60 meters tall comes with some magic dagger to stab her. They all die magically because they're somehow all emotionally bound to the White King, or whatever his name was, White Wanderer King guy, and it all just ends. Wow. I'm very disappointed. That's all I wanted to say. Really, I had this discussion a few times. I'm very disappointed. There we go. Had to get this off my chest. I know it wasn't a Counter-Strike. Now we're back with it. Energy got their final player with themselves. And so let's figure how this one will go. Energy again lost the previous round. Unfortunate conditions for them. Hardly having any money left could lead to Sinister5 capitalizing on this seasoned opportunity and bringing Energy to their knees. If that's going to happen is a different sort of story. As now, the flank is coming in. 2 already out from Pop Doc. That off reigns supreme against Mistem. So slowly and steady they approach. The problem that could become quite relevant is ADM. Oh, he's gonna be spotted beforehand. So, listening carefully to the music. That's gonna be it. I think it's Kazakhstani music, if I remember correctly. In the meanwhile, as they're listening to this, Energy must see their opponent getting the number 12. Sinister5 see a weakened opponent in front of them. Energy most definitely benefited from getting their players through, or more likely the majority of them. Still, Hawk and AK definitely can deal damage. Setup seems to not lean towards any direction yet. It's patience to Sinister5. Trying to use their advantage. Hackham won't get anything with that one. Setting themselves up in front of Pop Doc and now in front of B. Energy do somewhat to themselves a favor with this. Missed them though. I don't really like the angle. I think behind the spools it could make a little bit more sense to hide and stay sneaky. Both USPSs set up on B. No weapon that could deal any proper damage waits over on the side of ADM and his teammate, and this could be the pivotal mistake. Now the support instantly needs to come in. Missed up. Missed him? How does he deal so much damage? How in God's name is he even able to do that? And so it is though pretty much everyone of Sinister5 coming out. The situation does look somewhat sinister again. And Energy won't even try. The bomb hits the ground. Flexy's gonna bring it, and so does C4. Beeps away for 40 seconds. As you see, the 13-14. It's so unfortunate. Energy now got all the right weaponry in their hands again. Blaze, Raid, and Mist them brought through big bucks to help in the follow-up. The Sinister5 that will not fall on their knees. They will stay strong from an economic perspective. They will keep their wallets filled. And their more aggressive approach towards A main, is it going to pay off or not? Seems like they're a little bit forced back. At least for that specific point in time. That aggressive stance from Energy. It's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be roared by that. Because now they're trying to take the ground. They're trying to take the territory in front of A main. Oh no! Setting themselves up, but the wallbang does its job. No, it's actually the molly. One of them actually is dying. Pardon me. And CO down to 12 points of health. Angrily shoots in the air. Now it's one man to really hold him up. Dweezil. Oh, he's not going to expect it, does he? He saw him now. Throws the molly to hold him up a little longer. Excess denied. And as he's forced back at that point in time, the Sinister5 definitely go for that A-side approach with 2 on Pop Doc, popping down at the right time. And so they try to enter the side. It's pressure though building up. 25 more seconds to really make it possible. And Raid, he's ready to find one second player, low HP, and he cannot capitalize on that, making it all a little unfortunate. Hackett is even there strong enough. Oh no, and does it all just collapse? Missed him, waits it out. To his right hand side, 2 players are ready for the action. Finds one. Can he deal damage to the second? Most likely. Again, the player in Electric known. The player towards Ivy is not dying to ammo being low. One has to go for the defuse anytime soon. Trying still to get that Ivy player works. And the final individual, is he spotted or not? Anyone needs to go for that defuse. It's time to do so. CO peeks out. And he can't find the kill. Energy. With all their energy, they're making it possible. Whew. My goodness, the heat. The heat on the server right now is absolutely undescribable. And a triple op setup. If that isn't crazy, I don't know. And this is going to be especially interesting because they will expect one op, and it's going to be like the call, okay, there was an op up looking a main. I'm sure there's no other position where an AWP is going to wait. Dweezil though made himself present now. Finds another kill. Energy, can they capitalize on it? It's not too many steps ahead of them. It's Flexy and co. Hope for the best. Missed him. He must have seen him. He must have seen him by now multiple times. Either way, gets the kill, dodges the flames, and the system remains strong as the Sinister5 try to break down the walls. Everybody chimes in. Hakim would need one hell of a heroic performance, one outstanding and unique type to make it work, but it's not going to happen. 16-13 it is, and we're going to head into a little break. You rather go nowhere, as we're going to see map number 2 in just a bit.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.com.